Greetings and welcome back to MAGI Signals. I'm Brian. This is June 23rd. MAGI stands for Multi-Agent Generated Indicators. It's our experiment on machine learning applied to U.S. equities price action over 5 years. And let's get into it. It's not financial advice. We're not financial advisors. And with that, now we can get into it. Looking at performance, 2,827 total thrown call long signals since we've been showing this data to you this year, and 1,269 puts. Also remember, we have data going back 3+ almost 4 years now, and we don't publish all of that data only because it wasn't put on a shared sheet for you before we decided to share our data to the public. And we're doing that to get people's eyeballs and to get attention. It will not last forever, but for the foreseeable future, you can access this stuff totally for free. So the reached 2,209 on the call side, 1,073 on the put side, and you can see that 103 puts expired without reaching their target within 20 days. MAGI signals are good from 20 days of their issuance. And expired here, 525. Those are also ones that may have reached their targets. It's just that we don't keep those statistics because it doesn't fall within 20 days. Active 93, just a coincidence here that both of them happen to be 93 active trades. Let's go down and look at the particular percentages on calls and longs, shorts, puts. So we have some pretty good stats there with an overall accuracy rate of nearly 84%. Woohoo! So let's go ahead and look now at the new calls by triggered data. Here we see generated on the 21st, Adobe with a predicted 3% move. So when that stock price closed at $533.44, MAGI was run after the close of market and said, I see these particular price movements as highly probable based on moves that took place earlier in the week and earlier, obviously, throughout history, right? So it sees patterns that, we can't see. Obviously, we're not drawing lines. We're not doing Fibonacci retracements. We're not doing Elliott wave counts. But MAGI sees these kinds of things in its mathematical way and throws us this highly probable set of moves. ADSK is Autodesk. It sees a 5% move. Looks like Amgen has a 1%, AMT 1%, ATO, BXP, Fast. Home Depot shows a 3% move, and Intuit shows a 2.5% move. Now, this gets really interesting if we do the following. Let's go ahead and bring up another duplicate tab, and I'm going to show you the calls against the puts, and you're going to see some of these signals show both calls and puts. Why is that? That's because nothing goes straight up or straight down, and it allows you to get into a better position possibly. It allows you better insights possibly, and we're going to show you that right now. Okay, so let's compare these two. So I've just basically put the different tabs in different browser windows so we can look one against the other. Now, I'm not sure that we have any that I can actually show you from this last run. So you see this one here, ADM from the 20th, goes all the way to 5%. Well, if I bring up the puts, you can see ADM on the 14th showed puts. These were met, these first two, 1%, 1.5%. But we have additional puts here that are still active. I'm going to pull this over so you can see what I mean. So we have 3% move shown, of which only 1.5% has been met. So the question is will we see a pullback in ADM, this pullback here, before we see ADM reach its target over here in the call section? It's showing for an upwards move. It's showing for a move up to $61.93. So the question is is that what we're going to see with the puts? Again, here it is. Here's the ADM right here. 17th, it reached 2 of those moves, and then it has these 3 yet to go. And the big question is will ADM hit these upper movements before it hits those lower movements here? And it's possible that these will never be reached. It's possible, but it's also very possible, since this is still an active and open signal, that there could be some price fluctuation and both the calls and the older puts could be reached. So that's important to notice. Let's go ahead and just go through some of the longer and more large kind of moves that we see here. Adobe looks like it's going to do a 3% move. Autodesk looks like a 5% move. We've got a number of 1%ers. Amgen, AMT, ATO, BXP, Fast. But when we get to Home Depot, looks like another 3% move possibly. And then with Intuit, looks like a 2.5% move. The ones run on the Thursday before still have a few active here. We have ADM that's active. We just went over that. Also, Autodesk is still active for a big move. You kind of interpret the data the way you wish. It's just a flag. It's just a notice that something could happen. AMGN down here for 1% move. And we are looking at APD for completion of its 1.5, 2%, and 2.5% extended moves. We're looking at Fast to do a single move. Now that was also reinforced up here. And we're looking for Home Depot to do its 3% move. Again, Home Depot is predicted to make a move again. So we have a reinforcing set of signals there. IBM, 1% move. Adobe down here, again on the 14th, which was met, but then has some active extensions. So the big question is if we see Adobe a week ago, we see it on Thursday, we see it on Friday, it's persistent. Since we have the puts up here, actually I could get rid of this. This is just extraneous at this point. Let me go to the puts using the tab. Okay, here we go. Caterpillar, 2.5% move. CME looks like a 2% move down. Looks like a 1% move down for CVX. Enphase Energy is looking for a move down at 1.5%. Looks like EOG has a 1%, FDX does. Halliburton is looking for a 2.5 or 2% move down rather. LEN, 1%. And on Thursday, we have a number of actives that were triggered on Thursday. CME, that reinforces the other CME that's up there. CRM, that one did not show up on the 21st. So then the question is that still active or is that still likely to happen? Enphase looking for a big move down. That looks like there's even some extensions out here. These are, I'm not sure why these aren't highlighted. It's probably just something that my mathematician co-founder didn't do. He was kind of rushing to get this out. EOG, 1%. Halliburton, 2% move predicted. MDT, 3.5% move predicted. And remember, if you have, let's just use MDT as an example. If you have this $80.17 triggered price, it doesn't mean that's the entry price. This means that when the stock hits this price with the price action it had in the prior weeks, MAGI comes up with some probabilistic scenario of moves and says these are highly probable outcomes. It doesn't mean that it will happen. It doesn't mean it'll happen in one day. It doesn't mean it'll take 19 days or 20 days even. It does mean that it sees it as a highly probable move given the price action that preceded the run of MAGI. So what you would do, or what I would do, is to take a look at this, especially if it didn't immediately start going down against us on Friday, which it doesn't look like it did because it's still active, right? We don't have any reached for the 1% yet. But we would look at this and think to ourselves, does this make sense as the move that it is in a short term, or do I think I see something else happening and maybe this happens later, meaning later in that 20-day prediction window? So it's not a one-to-one. Please remember, this is not your entry price. This is just when the signal was generated. It could much further go against you. It could go up before it comes down. And you have to kind of make a determination using your other analysis tools. MAGI signals is simply a set of indicators that throw attention to this particular ticker so that you can make some reasonable determination about what you want to do with your trading with your other analysis tools. NSC here, the last one that I'm going to review for today, is looking for a 2.5% move. And that really does it for our presentation today. I really appreciate you attending. Your attention means something to us all. Please like, subscribe, share, and let us know what you think in the comment section. We're looking forward to being able to do a midweek update. So on Wednesday, I'll go ahead and do a midweek price update with you, kind of like I did last early Friday morning when I was in Toronto. And that'll give you a chance to see what's been moving, what I'm thinking. Maybe I'll share some of my trades, what I entered and where I am with those trades with you as well. We're looking forward to any and all feedback. And until then, we will see you soon.